So you're thinking about starting a vegan diet, whether it be for skin conditions or because you think it's ethical or you think it's the cool thing to do, or maybe you just don't want animals to die for your nutrition. I want to share some of my experiences with things that I've dealt with and people that are close to me that have dealt with on a vegan diet. I have a friend on here that you can find. His name is Luke Miller. Um, he is a stand up kind of guy. He's young, he's trying to find his way, things of that nature. And he'll tell you firsthand that being on a vegan diet is not what it's cut out to. The skin conditions, the energy issues, the lack of sexual drive, things of that nature is crazy. And you're going to find vegan videos out there that talk about how that stuff's not true. And they're going to say that they have no problem, and they're going to tell you that they function just fine and they've never had those issues. If anything, the vegan diet is what helped them uh, gain a lot of that stuff back. And it may be for them. Everybody's not the same. You're going to hear stuff along the lines of a vegan diet is more ethical for, um, cruelty and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, if you look at the amount of animals that are killed to harvest vegetables, fruits, grains, plants, things of this nature, you're going to see there's substantially more than actually what happens to somebody that eats meat or, chickens or eggs or lamb, pork, beef, whatever it may be. That animal can feed many families to where when you harvest corn, soy, rice, vegetables, fruits, you're not only killing field mice, you're killing raccoons, deer, the chemical runoff that's sprayed onto those types of plants and stuff like that in order to make them healthy for you is another situation as well. It's hard to look past all that, and you'll often find vegans don't even address that. They won't talk about it. They won't talk about the animals that die for what they do, or the vehicles that they drive, how much animal product is used to build those vehicles, the tires, the leather, the suede, the different types of material that are inside that, uric acid compounds and stuff that go into certain chemicals used to treat and stain and color different objects that are inside that vehicle. And on top of all the animals that are used in the equipment um, to harvest the fruits, vegetables, and things like that. So you'll often find that there are people that are going to talk against anything. Even my girlfriend Angie, she'll talk about how she's just had too much beef. She doesn't want any meat. She doesn't abstain from it. What she does is she just slows down eating it, and she'll go to something lighter like chicken or fish or something like that because she's not huge on eating a bunch of beef all the time. It's just not something that settles right with her. It's something mentally that she cannot get past. But she likes it. She likes tacos and burgers, things of that nature. But to see a big giant piece of steak in front of her, sometimes she'll turn her nose up to it because it's just not something that looks appetizing, a big chunk of muscle. And I get it. I get that it's not for everybody. There are a lot of people that have a lot of bad side effects from being on a vegan diet. The skin breaks out horribly. The hormones are just all out of whack. They end up developing this cult-like mentality as well as many other. They get involved with the different vegan groups, and they get. It's almost like they want to control you and make you do what they do because of what they believe. There are vegans out there that don't push it on everybody else, but the biggest majority of vegans that I see online and deal with, they want everybody to know they're vegan. They want people to know that they're doing something wrong because they're eating eggs and cheese and beef and drinking milk and stuff like that. And it's the ideology, the very principle that they live on. But then you're going to also hear people that are very two-faced. They call themselves Christian vegans. There is no such thing as a Christian vegan. It's because if they were a Christian vegan, they wouldn't be boasting about what they do, for one, because that's not what a Christian does. And number two, in the Bible, it states that if you're going to abstain from eating meat, that's fine. That's for the weak. If they want to do that, then that's their choice to do that. But that doesn't mean that you should not do that. Um, it's funny how things in life in general can be twisted and made out to be something that they're not. A lot of vegans that I see have sunken in eyes. They have very pale, clammy skin. They look the men look extremely frail. But you'll see vegans will put out the fact that they have their vegan bodybuilders and their power lifters and stuff like that. But those are guys that are also taking, steroidal type stuff. They're taking enhancing drugs. They're taking things of this nature. I'm sorry. So at the end of the day, you have to be your own deciding factor with this. Sugar, in general, when you take a sugar breakdown of what the molecule looks like and you compare it to what fructose looks like, or high fructose corn syrup, they're identical. When you look at sugar in general and increasing insulin secretion and blood sugar levels, it's terrible compared to the other macros that you can have. When you look at the amount of oxalates and anti-nutrients that are in vegetables in general, little needle-like substances that can cause scarring and tissue damage inside the body from eating plant-like matter and things like that, some is normal, but the amount of plants that vegans have to eat and the amount of food that they have to eat to sustain what having a balanced diet between meat and green veggies, good healthy fats, salts, stuff like that you should not be scared of because your body absolutely needs it. I've found that I can live only off meat. If I eat a well-balanced meat diet with organs and stuff like that, I'm already getting all bioavailable nutrients from it in itself. I'm getting nutrients that are already bioavailable. They don't have to be broke down and transferred into other forms in order for my body to be able to use them. On a vegan-based diet, there are essential amino acids and fatty acids that you're not getting. And you'll have vegans tell you that, you are getting just as good a protein, if not better, with a vegan diet. You're not. When you break down the amino acid chain that makes like a protein strand in broccoli versus a protein strand in beef, you're going to see, just off the top of my head, it's been a while since I looked at it, broccoli is going to be like 11, 12, 17, 14, 10. But beef amino acid chain will be like 32, 45, 40, 52, whatever. And the numbers are 2 to 3 times higher. So there's a substantial difference. And you're going to think about Arnold with his new, movie out where he talks about how eating plants is more healthy. Arnold did not build his physique on a plant-based diet. He built his physique on a meat-based diet. All the bodybuilders from back then did. You're not going to be able to build a athletic or competing type body without supplements or steroidal type use on a vegan diet. It's not going to happen. A lot of times vegans have a lot of like mental issues. Like I'll talk about things online, and I'll even call people out, for making a nuisance of themselves or lying about things. And there are vegans that I've encountered many times that just lose it. Like they don't even have the train of thought to have a good conversation with you. One guy actually got a hold of my employer and emailed him and said, look, this is what this guy's doing in his free time. This is how mentally unstable vegans are. And if you don't know the guy, I'm sure you could find my profile on Facebook and you figure out exactly who he is. He owns a restaurant in the UK called Veg Heads. And the guy got a hold of my employer and actually emailed my employer to let my employer know what I do in my free time, which is pretty sad. This is the mentality of vegans. I've had vegans stalk my pages, leaving comments like rapist and murderer and everything else because their mentality is screwed. I have to end up blocking them. They attack my YouTube channel and stuff. There's no freedom of speech anymore. If you want to feel like you're your own individual person, not being controlled by somebody, being on a vegan diet is not that, because you end up getting pulled into this cult-like mentality. And then look at all these people that go out in public and block the streets and the roads and stores, and they go into supermarkets and they block the milk section and stuff like that. That is mentally handicapped people that claim to be vegan, yet their message is to stop other people from living the way they want to. to create more of a nuisance of themselves, because that's the way to draw people into being vegan, right? Makes no sense. And then if you look at a lot of them, the women typically look fine, but they end up looking like that skinny fat type stuff. And I'm nothing to brag anyway. I've lost 147 pounds on a carnivore ketogenic diet, and I've been stalled for a little while now. So I'm not talking trash about them. They look good, but they've got that skinny fat look to them. And the men typically look trashy, like you took a skeleton and threw a sheet over top of it, and that's what they look like. You know, they're, for instance, Mick the Vegan looks terrible. Ryan from Happy Healthy Vegan, again, looks terrible. Joey Carbstrong, terrible. Um, Look at the guy from Plant Based News. They all have this very slender, non-muscular, non anything impressive type body. And if I had to choose between staying fat for the rest of my life and being living as a carnivore or eating a ketogenic diet as opposed to being vegan and looking like them, I would choose to stay exactly like I am, to be honest with you. Richard from Vegan Gains, he's got one of the most trashiest vegan channels out that hasn't been growing for months and months and months because it's pretty much tapered off, and he's got all the vegans that are going to follow him that he can handle, that will put up with his attitude, the attacking, the calling people out, saying he wants to cut people and kill babies and everything else, and challenging people that don't agree with him or call him an idiot to an MMA fight, and then thinking that that's tough. These are vegan mentalities. Mick the Vegan looks like he's dying. He looks like a dying walking corpse. I'm just being honest with you. I'm not talking trash about these people. I'm making an observation that's well observed by many more people than just myself. Um, Ryan from Happy Healthy Vegan, yeah, he's got a nice tan, but the dude's head is just screwed up. I mean, completely screwed up. He could say one thing and it'd be completely fine, but somebody else can put out the same style video but relate it more to meat or something like that, and all of a sudden they're the enemy now, and they're saying something wrong, and they're, he claims to be some kind of professional at looking at studies and stuff like that, which, again, the mentality is screwed. When you break this stuff down at the end of the day and you look at the amount of people that are being militant and violent, um, the type of look and body style and stuff that they have, even the women pretty much all look the same. The men pretty much all look the same. And you don't see too many different varying body styles, because when you live a life of nothing but anti-nutrients, that's what you look like. Um, if you took my lab panels as a carnivore, 17 months on nothing but a meat animal based diet, and you compared, which I do have a video up already, to Ryan from Happy Healthy Vegan, which a lot of people have said he's got awesome lab panels, but if you actually look at his lab panels over the last like 5 years or something like that, they're nothing to really brag about. They're not that healthy at all. I compared mine to him, and my triglyceride to HDL ratio blew his away. My lipid panel in general, and just my blood panel, was substantially better as a carnivore than his. So if being vegan and science supported exactly what they were saying was 100% true, then why is it that I can do the opposite? And what am I, an anomaly? I mean, there are many more people just like me that show the same thing. It's anecdotal, yeah, I know, but anecdotal still can be truth. And if science says this is how it is, but yet you prove that science does not work the way they say it does, are you just a different type of person that should not use science in general because science is bought and paid for? I mean, people are out to make money off of you. At the end of the day, being vegan is not necessarily just about food. Uh, it's an ideology base. It came from Seventh Day Adventist. It was invented back in the day from Kellogg's, that thought men should not be interested in women and doing sexual things. And the lady that created it, or some people say created a vegan diet, was based off more personal stuff. But if you dig back even further to like the 1700s in Europe, you'll see certain political parties, like more of the left-leaning Democratic Party, pushing a vegan style diet just because they literally wanted to control what people were doing, and they wanted more people to conform to a more militant style standard. And I just did an article write up on this not too long ago, and this is exactly where stuff like this spans from. being on a vegan diet doesn't have anything to do with, or being on a vegan diet now may have more to do with the ethics of not killing animals for food, but more animals die through farming operation than they do for using meat as a nutrient for your body to survive off of. And that's factual. Think about the amount of animals, insects, mice, and stuff you kill if you were to go mow a 5 acre lot as opposed to going and killing one cow for nutrition. How many lives have to die for you to mow that 5 acre field compared to just killing one cow for nutrients for several families? So a vegan diet is not what it's all cracked up to be. And you're going to have people in the comment section of this video tearing it up, saying I'm a liar, saying look at this, look at his body, look at all this other stuff. He's going to do this. I'm going to show you this NCBI study. Go look at Dr. McGregor Crackpot and look at his look. The guy that looks like he died 50 years ago, and compare him to Dr. Paul Saladino, a carnivore doctor. Or let's go even closer in age. Dr. Ken Berry is older than him and looks substantially better than him on a carnivore diet. Let's look at Dr. Sean Baker, complete 100% carnivore, and he holds Olympic rowing records. The guy deadlifts over 500 pounds many times. You're not finding vegan doctors that do that, let alone very many vegan athletes that can even do that. So you just have to be your own critic when it comes down to it. And vegans will do whatever it takes to get you to conform to their ideology. It's not about your health. At the end of the day, they don't care about your health. They care about what you do to animals. And they live in denial, basically, that they kill animals for their food. You'll see vegan gains, at events and stuff like that, screaming out at the top of his lungs, you're eating eggs, so you are contributing to the murder and rape and stuff of chickens and beef and lamb and or chickens and cows and lamb and everything else, and you're like, what the heck is this dude's issue? This is the face of veganism. This is somebody that has an opinion that wants everybody else to know what their opinion is and wants people to conform to exactly what they do. So what I would say to you is, if you're contemplating being a vegan, try to find somebody in the private sector, not online, to talk to see if it's the right fit for you. And you're probably going to get more of an answer for that. But then again, a lot of the vegan nutritionists and doctors that call themselves vegan nutritionists and doctors don't even follow what they do. I was watching a segment a couple months ago where they were talking about vegan nutritionists, and 6 out of the 8 nutritionists from around the United States were not even vegan. They just promoted a vegan diet. One lady even went to the extent of saying, I'm from Texas. Barbecue here is like some of the best barbecue in the world. I could never be on a vegan diet. But yet she coached people and told people that they should be on a vegan diet. That's this left-leaning, SJW, militant-style, government-controlled, bad information. If that was the case and people were supposed to be on a vegan diet, and you look back on timeline, the way everything was created, Ansel Keys and how he lied about his 22-country study, and go back even further than that, how cottonseed oil was one of the originators to vegetable oils, which cause more inflammation than any other type of oil in the body. Any kind of hydrogenated vegetable oil is just terrible. What I would say is look at the history of where everything came from, and don't just listen to one vegan channel. Go out there and actually search things, and you'll see for yourself that it's a lot of ideology driven. It's not about health. It never had anything to do with health. It's what selfish people wanted other people to do to control them. It's also a way to keep money in doctors' pockets and the government to keep being funded and funding certain things based on a vegan diet. It's a completely trash diet. It leaves people that are deficient in, vitamin A, DPA, DHA, EPA, certain types of omegas and stuff like that. You'll have a vegan tell you, well, they just eat flaxseed oil and you'll get plenty of omega-3. Your body can't break all that down. You actually digest that out of your body, and it causes inflammation in the process. So you can be consuming omega-3, but at the same time, inflammation is going up, and you're not even really getting what the flaxseed should have to offer because your body can't process it correctly. Vitamin B12 is a huge deficiency. Um, a lot of skin issues, a lot of mental issues. There's just a lot of eating disorder stuff that comes from it as well. But you have a few people that do okay but look like shit on the internet, and they want to put out videos to make other people think that they can do it as well because they've got a few subscribers. Look at the mentality of a lot of these people. First and foremost, before you even listen to my information or anybody else's information, look at the mentality of these people that are telling you that you should be on a vegan diet. Analyze them. Look at how they react to people. Look at how they portray their message. Look at how they deal with certain stressful situations. Get off of YouTube and actually try to go to their private profiles and stuff like that and see how they live their life. See what kind of struggles and stuff they have to go through and how they end up dealing with those situations, and then make your decision based off that. Don't just do it because it's an ideological or an ethical way of doing things, because it's not about health. A vegan diet is not about health. That's it. Thanks, guys.